Hakeem with Auto Fix Pal. So this video is going to be about power window operation on Nissan vehicles that have the auto up and auto down function. Around 2007, Nissan started using modules and encoders to control the auto up and auto down functions of the power windows on most of their vehicles. So the windows that have the auto up and auto down feature will not have the typical power distributing three-way switch. Instead, the switch is actually a little computer, and the driver's window switch using LIN, local interconnect network, will communicate with any other window switch on the vehicle that has the auto up and auto down function. If the auto up and auto down function is only available on the two front windows, then only the two front window switches will be computers, and the two front window motors will have encoders built into them. Encoders are essentially position sensors. It operates in a similar manner that a camshaft or a crankshaft position sensor operates, possibly using a Hall effect sensor and a trigger wheel. What you will see on the encoder signal wires are an on-off square wave signal that the window computer/switch can count and keep track of the window's fully up and fully down position. What you see on the screen right now is similar to what you can expect to see when testing the signal wires from one of the window motors encoders using an oscilloscope. So now that we understand how Nissan's power windows operate when it has the auto up and auto down feature, let's get our scope hooked up and take a look at the communication that occurs on the LIN network, the local interconnect network, signal wire to determine what we would be looking for if we're trying to diagnose a possible issue with this system. The first place you will want to start is with the wiring diagram to determine which one of the wires is a communication wire. Yes, it's possible to just stick your scope in every wire until you find a wire that has a communication waveform on it. However, that communication waveform may be missing. Since we are trying to diagnose a possible issue, it helps to know what we're looking for, and it helps to know where everything is. Now, the wiring diagram may not always tell you exactly which wire is a communication wire, so sometimes you may have to do some process of elimination to figure it out. What we want to focus on are the wires that come from the driver's master switch to the passenger front window switch/module. Looking closely, we can see that there are only two wires that are shared, and neither of the two wires are labeled communication. But if you look at the master switch, you can see that on pin number 18, the wire goes to a resistor and then goes to a diode. But not just any diode, that's an LED, that's a light emitting diode, which tells me that this wire is a power supply wire. So the other wire, pin 11, must be our communication line. We can verify this if the switch is able to communicate by back probing at pin 11 and looking for a communication type waveform, like what we see on the screen right now. Since there are no other wires shared across the two window switches, we can be pretty confident that pin 11 is our communication wire, even if we don't have any communication on that pin. Now, if communication is not present when it should be, such as when we command the passenger front window either up or down, the next step would be to make sure we have all of our powers and grounds to the switch. If that checks out, then what we have is a master switch that is faulty. Diagnosing this power window system is not very difficult. You just need to make sure that the master switch can communicate with the passenger switch and that there is actually a command being sent through the communication signal. You can do this by setting a trigger on the communication waveform to freeze it on the screen and look for changes in the waveform as you command the windows up or down, as you can see shown on the screen right now. You don't need to be able to decipher the code, you just need to see a clear change in the waveform that you caused by pressing the switch.
For the record.
Get this one thing clear. Get this one thing. Let's take one thing clear.
For the record.
Get this one thing. Get this one thing clear.
So moving on to the power door locks, which operate over the same communication line at pin 11. The only difference with the power door locks is that the communication is sent to the body control module, then it's up to the body control modules to respond accordingly and either unlock just the driver's door or unlock all doors depending on if the request came from a single unlock request on the key fob, a double unlock request from the key fob, or pressing the power door lock switch on either the driver's master switch, which is one unit by the way, or pressing the unlock switch on the passenger front switch, which is also one unit. When the BCM receives an unlock or lock request, it will then directly power the door lock actuators as commanded to either lock or unlock, and this is achieved by reversing the polarity of the power supply to the door lock actuators to either lock or unlock as commanded. And we've got nothing on that circuit right now. But that's because our key is in the off position. Let's see what will happen if we hit the lock, unlock and lock. There we go, we got some communication. So it looks like our lock and unlock feature works on communication as well. So if you're trying to diagnose a lock and unlock issue, you're gonna have to verify you got communication on that pink wire. Now let's open this up. See what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Now let's turn it back on. Maybe we'll have nothing. Yeah, so diagnosing power locks would be pretty easy. Just hit the lock button. So you got your signal. Let's see if we can get a trigger on that. We have our trigger. One away. I'm gonna put it right there. That's lock. Lock again. Lock again. Nothing. Lock. I'm holding lock. Now I'm letting lock go. Holding lock. Letting it go. Holding it. Letting it go. Which is unlocked now. Being that there is no communication present when the key is in the off position, you can quickly verify that the switch is capable of communicating by simply looking for a communication waveform when you press the lock and unlock button. If nothing appears, then you can condemn the switch as a problem after you have checked your powers and grounds to the switch.